What's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. Today we're going to be making a more life Drake trap type of track in Ableton Live, and it sounds like this. That's enough self-indulgence. So yeah, man, this track pretty much is inspired by Free Smoke. Didn't want to do a remake because it's been done, and you know, why do you want to know how to exactly remake someone else's beat anyway? This shit's weird to me. So what I've got going on is obviously, if you're looking at this and you're not seeing the matrix, this is my custom production template that I've designed that I'm comfortable with. It's basically two buses, a drum bus and a band bus, the band being everything that isn't drums, and then that shoots out to a filter bus in case I want to do any type of like mix bus processing. And then I have my mix bus, which is where I carry all of my mastering type of effects. So, but let's get down to the start of everything. This track pretty much centered around this this sample right here. And the way that I created this was I found the sample. It's a Frank Dukes Kingsway sample. You know, before, like when I was working in Studio One and everything, it like chopping wasn't as easy as it is inside of inside Live with the push and everything. So I was like, I've had these Frank Dukes libraries and I was just looping them before, and now I was like, this is one of the things I was the most excited about, dealing with Live and the push. So what I did was I started the and some of you guys might think this is weird, but I learned how to program music and chords through music theory and stuff. So I'm really comfortable with the piano roll. I don't, to have a tendency to play out a lot of my chops. So the way that I built this was I had taken the first chop, and this is just the first chop in the beat. If we pull it up on the actual sampler, if we pull the first pad up, you see we'll zoom out. This is just the first thing that I heard, and that's how I pick a sample. Like if I like the first thing that I hear in the song, I'm gonna mess with it. So I sent it, I dragged and dropped it, into a MIDI clip, and then converted it into a drum rack. Went ahead and laid out these MIDI notes right here, and had this just pretty much. Then to make the next piece, what I did was I took and copy and pasted this drum pad, just holding down Control, copy and pasted it to this one. Made sure that I brought out the in and out section of the drum rack, so that I could have the choke group. This way the chops cut each other off. Set the next one to 1. That way when I copied them, the rest would do that. And then what I did was, I just used the wheels on the push, bring up the device, and I put in I knew that I was gonna have, this new note right here. So I just kind of played it and went through the sample, just adjusting the start point until I found something I liked. So I like the way that transitioned. Then I went ahead and added these guys in, just kind of, just kind of building it from the ground up. Like I've never been good at taking a song, listening to it, chopping it up, and putting it on the pads and then playing it. That's just something I've never been good at. And one of the things that I really like about live is there's so many different ways to work, that even if you don't necessarily have a strength in something that previously required you to have that strength to execute it, you can find a programming workaround to still get the same result. And that's probably the most inspiring thing about this DAW, in my opinion. So the next chop, it was just the same thing. Just moving the start of this down, finding this chop. Really easy, nothing to it. It did not take me long to get there. The next thing that I went ahead and added to it, let's stop all these clips. The next thing that I went and added to it was all right, so this is something I actually played on my MIDI keyboard. I found after I chopped this up, I used a plugin that I love. It's called Hornet Mixed or Song Keys, Hornet Songing Key or something, and it's a really cheap plugin. It's like 20 bucks or something, and just I like it because you could just drop it as an insert on the track. You don't have to bounce your audio out and put it in mixed in key or something, because sometimes the way that you arrange the chops, you'll have the key information of the sample, but you might omit certain notes in the course of your chop, and that can have a tendency to change either the mode or the scale of your sample altogether. So having this VST just be able to play, and tell me with 99% certainty, hey, this is A minor. Now I know on my keyboard I'm just using the white keys, and I played a walk down. It sounded nice. At the end of it, I walked it back up. Nothing too crazy. So that fit in nice. I knew that I was going to use that maybe for like hooks, or just different parts of the arrangement to add a little bit of energy, because I know I had an idea going into this once I made the sample chop that I was going to be doing like an A-B type of arrangement. The next thing that I added was this Aretha Franklin sample. And I've just got an EQ8 rolling off the lows. This is a vocal chop that they used in Mobb Deep's drop a gem on them, which is one of my favorite hip hop tracks of all time, and I really like just the spookiness of that chop. So I went on Who Sampled, found where it was, and you know, just use it in my stuff. This is actually something I use a lot. You know, people download vocal packs, or you know, however you like to get your vocal chops, but this is this was one method I used. The next thing I did is I used the UVI workstation, this DSX. This is from the synths, the Digital Sensations 2, and these are like exotic retro 90s synths, just really type of cheesy digital synths, kind of just because the sonic template of this track is more of a throwback gritty type of vibe. I wanted to add that type of feel to it, with the synth, and I just played. This is just an A minor chord, except I'm not using the fifth. And I'm using I'm actually using the third E as a bass note. So I'm just playing 3 1 3 in the actual you know, in the actual voicings of the track, or of the chord rather, and it gives it a more tense and spooky feel, as opposed to playing the original triad, which is just kind of like what you would do if you were gonna do, like, you know, like old school Drake, like Marvin's Room type of shit. And you know, I'm just kind of spamming that over and over again. This is a really simple beat. You know, a lot of the times, you know, as a producer, you get kind of enticed to make things, you know, chordal and have deep progressions and things like that, and rappers really don't care about that. You know, when you're making a tough beat, when you're making like a you know, like a hard gritty trap beat, the repetition and the simplicity is actually a strength, which can be counterintuitive if you're coming at it from a production standpoint. But you got to remember, you're making these things for rappers. So the next thing I added was this choir chop, and this is a mean choir chop, but the way that I'm using it, because I don't want that, you know, this to be like, you know, like a whoop whoop choir beat, like this is my epic choir beat, the Hate Me Now type of shit, you know, like Big Sean, for, you know, first quarter or whatever. Like this is just, I'm using the thinking was like, I'm using this synth choir to play this chord. So I found you know, a choir sample in the same key on Splice, and I just kind of want to layer this in the background just to have that human effect. Anytime you stack a human voice with a synth choir, it's never going to sound worse than if it wasn't there. All right, so now moving on, the snare pattern, super simple, just a regular snare on the threes. And rather than using, you know, the same old you know, snare 9, the Young Chop snare, fucking 808 Mafia snare, whatever you want to call it, I wanted to use, you know, a snare that had a more acoustic feel, just to kind of add to the overall griminess of the track. I got an open hat on the this is set to 8th notes right now, and we're just hitting right after that 4 beat to give it this type of feel. All right, couple that with the closed hi-hat. And this is just a basic 16th note roll. There's no variation or swing or velocity changes in this hi-hat, and that's done on purpose. It's just meant to be like a really basic rudimentary hi-hat pattern, just again adding to you know, just the base ignorance of the track, because that's what we're going for. We're going for an, you know, just an ignorant tough vibe. The kicks, nothing too crazy here, really sparse spread out kicks. And then tying it all in with the 808. Now the 808 is also, again, a really simple pattern. I'm just playing the root note stacked on top with the kicks. You know, all I did to create it was held Control, dragged it over to the 808 side, where I already had this preloaded in my production template. You guys could watch that video if you know, if you're lost on any of that. The way that I tune my 808s is real simple. I add a tuner, because, you know, sometimes your 808 packs aren't tuned to the key of C, which is annoying, but it's nothing that you can't deal with. So I use the tuner and I adjust the detune and the transposition accordingly to get it, you know, to get it to hit C when I hit C. And this is something I like about Live Sampler a lot too, is being able to, you know, being able to really get in there and at a cent level, because as you could see, to get this thing centered on pitch, there was a little bit of work that needed to be done. So the way that I got it to glide, you know, you just go into the sample. I went ahead and set my voices to 1, set my glide time to 250 milliseconds, and then set glide mode to glide. If you don't have a push, all of that stuff can be found in controls. Here you go, setting glide to glide, time to 250 milliseconds, and just once I had this pattern laid down, I just inserted this this A note and, you know, an octave higher. You could probably even go, I wonder how that sounds. Oh, that sounds much better. Yeah, we're gonna go up 2 octaves with it. Shift up to go up an octave. Boom. All right. So yeah, you know, now I'm in session view. I'm ready to, you know, I'm ready to get this sounded the way I want it to sound. And the way that I'm gonna go ahead and do that is we'll go ahead and switch over to the arrangement view. Set this guy up over here. Shift play to start at 0. And let's see, just go ahead and record, and just record in the arrangement. right, so now I've got an arrangement that I can mess with, and go ahead and just mix this down, bounce it out. This is the way I've become comfortable arranging and working inside Live. Is just building out scenes in the session view, and then going ahead and launching them as I record, as I record inside the arranger. And then if there's any changes I want to make, like say like right here, I noticed that the choir wasn't in these other sections, I could just go ahead, hold control, and just make those type of adjustments here. If I wanted to say for this second piece, I wanted to take the hi-hat out. Say I wanted to take this hi-hat out right here, just to just add a little bit of variation from one section to another. It's really easy. And say I wanted to make an additional variation here, where I take this and then maybe only have the hi-hat for the last bar. And then if I wanted to go a step further, I could just create a drop on the last bar. Anyway, so anyhow, yeah, that's how I go about creating this type of vibe in Ableton Live. This is CMP with Craftmaster Productions, Studio1tutorials.com. This is my adventures in Ableton. Keep it simple, don't be basic, and we'll see you on the next one.